Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are checking out the Diatone's Just Air Q25. It is a 1:100 ratio micro FPV car. Now it is currently the smallest wheel-based mass-produced RC car. So we get the car, we get the pistol grip remote controller, the FPV goggles with a built-in DVR so you can record your driving sessions, and they are ready to run right out of the box. So if you are a beginner, or even if you are a seasoned veteran to this type of setup, all you have to do is charge up the built-in batteries on each of the units and you are ready to have some fun. So first we take a look at the RC car. Now it comes with an all-in-one VTX mounted to the top of the car. It is a 5.8 gigahertz 4-channel all-in-one FPV camera. It has the 5865, 5825, 5785, and the 5745 frequencies. Press the frequency switch button on the top to change channels or frequencies. Now, so since it has 4 frequencies only, so the maximum amount of cars you can run at the same time obviously is 4 due to the 4 frequencies. So the FPV camera turns on automatically when the car is powered up. And that is fine when you are driving FPV. But if you want to drive the car line of sight without the FPV goggles and turn off the all-in-one VTX, there is no on and off switch to do that. So what I have done is I removed the 4 screws that's mounting the all-in-one VTX to the top of the car and removed it, and I'm using a tiny bit of poster putty to hold it into place. Now there is another reason for that, and I'll show you that in a minute. So remove the 3 screws right here, and right here, and the shell comes right off. So here's the USB-C charge port to charge up the built-in 3.7 volt, 240 milliamp size battery. And here is the power push button on and off switch. Now the wheelbase is about 25 millimeters and the wheel spacing is about 32.5 millimeters. And the ground clearance is said to be about 1.5 millimeters. Now the tires are said to be made out of some silicone rubber material for sure grip. It is a two-wheel rear drive unit. It has independent spring shock absorber suspension up in the front, no shocks in the rear. Now the rear tires are almost 14 millimeters in diameter and the width is about 4.6 millimeters. Now the front tires are about 12 millimeters in diameter and the width is about 3.4 millimeters. Now the VTX power cable that you see right here was soldered onto these two pads right above the power push button on and off switch right here. That was the positive and that is the negative, and the negative is still soldered on there. But for some reason my unit didn't have any power going to the VTX right out of the box. So I used the multimeter to check, and sure enough, there is no power coming out of this pad right here. It looks good, but it was beyond my ability to fix it. So I started checking other spots, and there's 4 empty pads right here, and 2 of them supplied 5.2 volts. So I got the positive wire soldered onto one of them to power up the VTX. I tried both of them and both of them worked. They worked just fine. Now, the only problem is that it will power up the VTX when it is charging via the USB-C port. So that is the reason why I have the VTX not mounted onto the canopy with screws, so that I can unplug the VTX while it is charging. Now, I'm not sure if the VTX powers up originally with it soldered onto the original pads, since mine didn't work from the get-go. Now I'm pretty sure it stays off while it is charging. Now taking a look over here, we have the single wire for the antenna for the built-in receiver. The protocol it uses is FlySky's AFHDS. So if you want to use a different transmitter, all you do is put the car into the bind mode by powering up the car and waiting for about 8 seconds until the yellow LED light flashes really quick. Set your TX to AFHDS and hit the bind. Once the light turns off, binding is successful. Now, you can go ahead and rearrange your channel mapping the way you like it on your TX, and you can use your stick transmitter to control the RC car. Now, when you want to switch back to the original remote controller, put the car into the binding mode once again by leaving it on for 8 seconds until the yellow LED flashes really quick. Turn on the original remote and press the multi-function button for about 2 seconds. That'll conclude the binding process. Now the pistol grip remote controller is pretty small in the hands, but it does the job. The hand wheel has some foam grip, but it is slightly slanted here to allow the right hand trigger people like myself enough clearance. Now the trigger is also pretty small, but still gets the job done as well. We have the USB-C port to charge up the car battery, and they provide you with a little dongle to facilitate the hookup. And there's the USB-C port. Now, do not use this port to charge up the remote controller's battery. The remote controller's battery needs to be taken out to separately charged, and that is perhaps something that they need to get it updated so you can charge the remote controller's battery directly, like from a port. So open up the battery compartment to take the battery out, and the battery is a 18650 lithium ion battery, and there's nothing much I can tell you more about the battery itself because it's in a different language. So charge it up how you would charge up an 18650 battery. Now, I use a couple of magnets and use the alligator clip attachment to charge it up using a hobby grade charger. Now, if you are replacing this battery, then you need a battery with the positive connection to be raised up so it will fit and touch the connection on the lid. So we have the steering wheel trim buttons right here, and we have the power sliding on and off switch, and there is a haptic feedback. We have the power plus button, which will max out the power to 100%, and a power minus button that'll max out the power to 70%, sort of like a throttle limitation here, 70% and all the way up to 100%. On the top we have a 1/4-inch screw hole to mount like a display screen. We have the multi-function button, and we have a VTX button. Now I'm not sure what this button does since I don't have it connected to the original VTX pad, the VTX onto the original VTX pad on the car. Now we have a light switch for ground effect lighting. So let's go ahead and power up the car. And let's go ahead and press it. So it changes color, off. You got red, you got purple, dark blue, you got green, light blue, orange, and off. You can go through that cycle. You can also turn on the headlights by pressing the headlight button. You got the dim headlights, and you got the high beam headlights, and then off. We also have the yellow turn signal lights that turn on left or right with the steering input. We also have the orange brake lights that come on when the throttle is released, and we have the red backup lights. So it also comes with this QG2 FPV goggles with dual antennas. Probably not diversity, but dual antennas is better than just one. It also has a built-in DVR so you can record your sessions. It is a 40-channel 5.8 gigahertz FPV goggles with a 4.3-inch screen, 16:9 display ratio with a resolution of 800 by 480 pixels. We have the easy search button to find your correct frequency. We have the power/menu button. We have the band button. We have the channel changing button. And since it has a DVR, there is a record button as well. Charge up the built-in 3.7 volt 200 milliamp size battery via the micro USB port with the provided charge cable. It is said to have about 2.5 hours of working time with the DVR recording and 3.5 hours of working time without the DVR recording. It also has this audio video port. It outputs audio when it is in the RF mode, and it outputs video when it is in the audio video mode. It also has this comfort padding for your face, and it comes with this 3-point head strap so the FPV goggles will stay on your head. Okay, so here we go with the drive test. So what I have here are 6 water bottles for obstacles, and I'm driving the car first person view, or FPV, wearing the FPV goggles that is provided. Now, the picture-in-picture is the recorded FPV video from the goggles DVR, and the full screen video is from my hat cam that is placed on the ground. Now, this thing is super fast, so the throttle is barely pressed here, otherwise it would be way too fast for FPV. However, the controls are super responsive, and it is really fun to drive FPV with this car. You just have to minimize the inputs for both the throttle and the steering to finally control the direction and speed of the RC car. Now, I love to drive FPV with all my other RC cars, and this here is no different. It's super fun to drive. The only thing is the camera view. It is very low to the ground because the car is so small. But the field of view of the camera and the angle of the camera is perfect. So you get a 50% view of the sky and 50% view of the ground, and a nice and wide overall field of view. So you can see objects coming towards you to avoid. And you still get a sense of the distance of farther away objects. And the DVR is doing a superb job of recording as well. Not much static to be had. All right, so now line of sight. It would be better if I took the camera off, but I'm still recording. So this car is small, so you don't want to go to a place where there's a big concrete joint, such as right here. Ooh. See, if you slow down, you're gonna get stuck here. This place has very small concrete joints in certain areas, so I can run it over. So I'm okay. So you need a nice flat area with minimal amount of cracks. So this car can run over it and go right over it. It's a lot of little fun here. Yeah, from a small little thing. See, like I tell you, there's a pretty big crack right here, and it fell over. But it's a trooper, man. Look at that. Oops. And my camera is kind of coming off because of the poster putty is not that strong, but it does the job. There we go. You get yourself a little obstacle course, and you can slow down and take it easy. Steering is completely proportional. Throttle is completely proportional as well. So you can control it really fine. Make nice slow turns. If you turn the steering a little bit too fast, it will spin out. See what I'm saying? So you gotta go real slow and gentle. And it turns on a dime, I tell you. So use your throttle to kind of pump the throttle at times, and have lots of fun. Oop, hit a small little pebble right there. Okay, so go check out how fast it goes. This is full throttle. Look at that. Ooh. And it's still going. And that is full throttle. It's got good enough range. Woohoo! Like a little mouse running around. And you can slow it down to like a crawl, so you can control it very fine. So Let's see here. This is at 100% full throttle. I don't know if we were 70% or 100% from the get-go. Fix my camera once again. And that is 100%. I don't know if it makes any difference. No, it's at 70%. It's still very fast and zippy, so I mean, it really doesn't matter, 70% or 100%. I'm not going to use the full amount of power anyways, because you want to control this thing very delicately when you're FPVing. So there you have it, guys. Diatone's Just Air Q25. Lots of fun to be had. You can actually do this on a tabletop too, because the car is so small. Have small obstacles, but a little bit bigger playing area is recommended because it's so fast. Something about this size right here, that's good, without any big wide concrete joints, so you can kind of run it over. Yeah, that's good right here. Found a good spot. All right, so there you have it, guys. The Diatone's Just Air Q25, the world's smallest wheelbase, fully proportional, mass-produced RC car. So if you want to check it out for yourself, the product link is provided for you down below in the video description. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.